Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Today's video will be about Bryan Kohberger's 2015 white Elantra. And I believe this video proves that Bryan Kohberger's white Elantra is seen driving around 1122 King Road on November 13th, 2022. So let's start off by going over what law enforcement mentioned in the probable cause affidavit. It says law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect vehicle 1 to forensic examiners. So they had been tracking a white Elantra or a white vehicle moving around at that point. And then they gave it to the forensic examiners with the FBI that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The forensic examiner has approximately 35 years law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training includes identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual cues of vehicles across states to identify differences between vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observances of suspect vehicle 1, the forensic examiner initially believed that suspect vehicle 1 was a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, they indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. As a result, investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra. What I did was I put together an image that shows all 6 of those years, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They are almost all identical. There are some changes up here in the I don't know if those are fog lights, but these lights right underneath there. But look at the shape of the headlights are almost identical on each of them. They all have the fin above it. And I think that's more like an antenna, like right back here. And if you go 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16. This one right here is the one that Bryan Kohberger owns. He owns a 2015 white Elantra. And as you can see, they look almost identical. So when the FBI first said these 3, he probably realized later, oh yeah, well the other 3 match almost perfectly. And also look at this. You can buy parts. It says right here, fit for Hyundai Elantra 2011 to 2016. It's really clear that there are very similar aspects of these years so that you can actually buy parts that fit. This is for the sedan side window custom thick sunshade 4 pieces. So that means it fits this car as well as all 6 years total. And then we also have this one, passenger rear right door window glass. So even the glass in the rear right window fits the 2011 all the way to 2016. So the FBI agent picked up his earlier narrower range and corrected it, and now it includes the entire 6-year range, which is accurate. Also says in the PCA, on November 25th, 2022, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for white Hyundai Elantras in the area. On November 29th, 2022, at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania license plate LFZ 8649. This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger, hereafter Kohberger, residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201. And that's also in Pullman, Washington. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way. And now looking up the license plate of the LFZ 8649 Pennsylvania plates, you'll see that it's a 2015 Hyundai Elantra. Then it mentions on the same day that that previous officer looked up the white Hyundai Elantra, the same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., WSU officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. 1630 Northeast Valley Road is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Kohberger with a Washington tag. I reviewed Kohberger's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. This license indicates that Kohberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Kohberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Kohberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male Dylan Mortensen saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Then in one of the search warrant affidavits, I believe it says, all vehicles in which Kohberger has access to, including but not limited to a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with the VIN number 5NPDH4AE6 FH579860. And after entering that in, it comes back again with a 2015 Hyundai Elantra. Now, if you look right here, it says last reported mileage 115,000 miles in November of 2022. And I think that's the last time that Kohberger had anything to do with the miles on his vehicle in terms of being reported anywhere, because I think that November 2022 is when he changed his plates to the Washington plates. And when you do that, you have to put the mileage down when you get your new registration. So I think that's exactly what that's referring to, is November of 2022. Now let's take a look at a video here, and we're also going to look at the times when Bryan Kohberger was pulled over, and we'll play those videos just because they're interesting to see Bryan Kohberger actually moving around and interacting with police officers, and we might be able to get some other information from that. But this is really mainly about the Elantra. And we'll probably do another video kind of tying everything all together using the same information in the future. So this is going to be the 2011 all the way to 2016 Elantras laid on top of each other, and you'll see as it shifts to the next one, you can't really tell the difference. The image stays up on the screen for about 8 seconds. And it's already switched to 2012. You could barely even notice that. And then it'll switch to 2013 shortly. There you go. Looks very similar. Gas tanks in the same place. The tail lights look similar. It's got the antenna fin on the back. And this is 2015. That's the one that Kohberger has. And that's 2016. I'm merely putting that on there because that was also mentioned by the probable cause affidavit referencing what the FBI first or secondarily mentioned. And this one's every 4 seconds. So you can really just see how the vehicle looks almost identical each of these years. And there'll be one more, might even be 2 more times here where it's really sped up and just kind of stare at the screen and realize, wow, so similar. Now again, I'm relying on photography and consistency, so it's very close anyways. One of the years it looks like I have it where the car's a little bit taller, but very little difference in any of those shots there. I think they look identical. And now this is again showing the loops behind 500 Queen Road. And what I did was I put the time down below because I'm rotating it so you can see it better. Now you can see the car driving around, moving back behind the wall there. So on the 1112 King Road camera, they can tell it's a white Elantra, and the vehicle back here at 1330 Linda Lane is doing exactly what the probable cause mentioned the white Elantra doing, or suspect vehicle 1, which matches Bryan Kohberger's vehicle. And they use the word consistent with. And there it goes, driving by again. That's the 357 one. And then we'll see at 4:05-ish, it does a turn back here. And then just after these loops, I'm going to do an overlay with a 2015 white Elantra and zoom in on that spot, and I think you'll see the startling similarities. And this time I left the audio on so you can hear it. And that's when it's going to turn around there. So you move forward just a little bit more there, but just prior to that you get a really good look at it. Now you got to keep in mind that the camera is up higher than that vehicle, and it's not absolutely perpendicular. So if I was using a 3D model, I would the car would look a little more shallow, like it wouldn't be as tall because you're looking down at it from the side. And then there it goes, completing the last loop, and just shortly after that is when the killing of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez began. So if you remember, this is part of that last video that I made, or a video I made a few days ago on the different passes. Now here it is, coming in to do that turnaround behind 500 Queen Road. And this is where I'm going to do the overlay. So it's pulling back there. And now that it's paused, I'm going to take a 2015 white Elantra and slide it back there. And I think I could have done this part a little bit quicker. But if you go back there now, I make it transparent, and you can see the vehicle behind it and how similar the window shape is and everything about it. At the very end it just fades away, and you'll see how absolutely similar it is. And I know people say, well, there's other cars that look similar. Yeah, but law enforcement identified it as an Elantra on the 1112 King Road camera. So I just do this for a while so that you can keep visualizing it. Now again, like I was saying before, the camera angle isn't absolutely perpendicular. So if you could get an image like that, you would be able to even make a better match. Now I believe after this I have instances where Kohberger's pulled over. Now here is his white Elantra right here. On October 14, 2022, 1 month prior to the murders, he's being pulled over. And man, look at that creepy look.
Hello, I am Officer Langus. Stops being audio and video recorded. Again, I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
Yes. Let me just get this for you out.
You what?
I'm just gonna get this out for you.
Okay.
Oh, it's so kind of him. He's gonna get that out for her.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck,
He likes to do
in the
this.
intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done been?
Not-
Just
He likes to have these kind
You're
of.
not supposed to.
He likes to have these kind of conversations with the police officers. Even when he's pulled over in Indiana, he is very similar. Like, you know, hey, now, can you tell me what I did? Like, just trying to be so calm and conversation-like. I mean, have any of you guys seen anybody pulled over more than this guy? I mean, it's almost unbelievable.
Block an intersection like that in Washington, so just by you blocking the
I mean, I'm not saying
intersection,
it's-
that's technically a ticketable violation.
There's nothing wrong with trying to sound pleasant. It's just weird how he tries to distract the officer by getting into the technicalities of, like, how you're really supposed to do it.
And then then you're running a red light, so it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go.
See, I actually think that you should be able to claim the intersection. We know how this works. During rush hour, if you're at one of those intersections where there is no left turn signal and you're relying on traffic to slow down, and it never does during rush hour, so you have to claim the intersection so that when the light turns green for the people going perpendicular to you, you're in the intersection and you can finish your turn. At least some cars are moving. If not, you literally could sit there for hours.
A lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting, and then turns, and then you're blocking, so.
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn. So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh.
Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, like right before I made the turn, there was someone who like made a right. And they didn't have their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just.
Yeah, so you should have caught that guy, not me.
Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up and not.
I don't know if there's a best
I
thing to do in
couldn't-
that situation, because you're either going to back up into somebody,
Yeah.
or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection.
Yeah.
There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so. Yeah, where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh.
So even if you're kind of slight.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. There's no crosswalks in Pennsylvania. Does anybody believe that's true?
There's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one in front. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't. When you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can
not
find
like
it for you.
with
Yeah.
anything. But,
1 second. That looks good on a Hyundai. I don't see Pennsylvania
Yeah,
registration.
he's really
like, at all.
thinking
Okay,
about
let's
stuff
see.
there.
Expires November 22nd, or 2022. Okay. And
yeah, one of those is actually.
yeah, okay, that looks good. I'll hand that back to you. I'm just gonna go check.
And so you hear that is it expires November 2022, and that's the same date that we saw on that report that I was showing you earlier that the VIN number was associated with. So just after the murders, he replaced his plates, and I think the murder was timed to sync up exactly with the plate change.
Your info. I'll try to find that RCW, the law for you, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right.
Now, there's people out there that think just because the FBI said it was a 2011 to 2013 Elantra, that somehow it invalidates that it could be a 2014 to 16 as well. And I just showed you a minute ago how they're absolutely the same.
Okay, so I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania where you go to find laws, but in Washington it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection.
She found it.
To accommodate the vehicle he is operating without obstructing the passage of other vehicles, despite any traffic control signal indications to proceed. So you had a green light, so you're thinking you can go, but you're blocking the intersection. Yeah. So that's, if you're ever curious in any laws in Washington, just Revised Code of Washington. So I'm not writing a ticket or anything like that today. I understand you're from Pennsylvania, but in the future, don't proceed through the intersection. You can't get stopped for that alone, unless you can clearly just clear it right away. Okay. So
that basically, I understand.
You're just supposed to wait behind the white line. Drivers do it all the time, but
it never even occurred to me that was actually something wrong. But well, except for the fact that I was blocking the crosswalk, which is what I went through.
And states vary a lot from laws. Like Pennsylvania might not even have that law, but in Washington we do.
I'm actually just from a very rural area, so we just don't have crosswalks.
Oh.
Unless I visit an area where there are crosswalks, and then it's not very.
Okay, so now he's saying there are crosswalks.
If I was asking you too many questions,
just not in his area.
I wasn't trying to
No, not at all. Like I understand you're not from here, so if you don't, a lot of people don't know a bunch of laws. Like I only know it because this is what I do. But if you're ever curious on any more laws, just RCW, and they can be hard to read because it's in like legal language, but hope that helps.
Definitely.
Yeah, have a good day.
Definitely, you too.
Thanks.
And then there was 2 stops in Indiana, and this is one of them right here. This is at 10:41 a.m. on December 15th, 2022. This is 1 month after the murders. This is when he was heading back to Pennsylvania with his father.
Hello. How you doing? How y'all doing? Good.
Gives you a good look at the Elantra.
License real quick if I could. See, he's right up on the van, man. You're right up on the back of that van. Go over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay. Cool. Where you headed?
Well, we're coming from WSU, and we're scanning.
Yeah, and see, Kohberger, you could see, was like, why are you saying where we're coming from? He didn't want that information out there. You could see it sort of bothered him. Like, wait, why are you saying? He just wanted to know where we're going. Yeah, we're heading to Pennsylvania. And then his father jumps in with, hey, we're just heading from WSU.
What's WSU?
And so he says that, and then Kohberger starts going, man. And then they introduce a different crime or situation that happened to deflect from the incident he is actually associated with.
So I'm having a hard time reading because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going there? Oh.
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
We're finally much you can drive hours.
Hours, days.
Hours. Right.
Well, almost. Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where?
Talking about a mass shooting with a SWAT team.
Well, it's horrifying. He's going to the university, you know what I mean?
So y'all work at the university there?
I Actually, Bueller.
Oh,
PhD in criminal.
okay.
I think by this time, though, he'd already been fired, I
I
believe.
hadn't heard about that incident.
I don't remember the exact dates, though. It's around that time.
About an hour and a half ago, they're still out there investigating. I'm not sure there's 2 shooters because they can shoot Suddy.
Yeah, they're just really talking about that.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay? All right. Thank you.
I mean, you think they would have mentioned the... You would think they would have mentioned, man, yeah, I come from that university where those 4 college students were killed. But no, they wouldn't want to talk about that. You want to talk about this other incident to deflect. So the officer wouldn't say, hey, isn't that where those 4 college students were killed? Now he's stuck on this mass shooting. And this is stop number 2. This one is the same day, but at 3:49. So, you know, good. Gosh, I don't know. That almost seems like 5 hours later. And look, that's a great vision of the white Elantra right there. Let's take a look at that. Here we go. Look. Just watch that again. So that car right there on the right is Kohberger's white Elantra with him driving it. That's the same vehicle that was driving behind 500 Queen Road, doing multiple passes. And there it is right there. And you can see he's got the little antenna fin on the back there. And right now he's already got his new Washington plates.
Go on to state police, got your license and registration with you. I realized, stopped you, man, when you were driving by me there, you were a little too close to the back of that semi. About 1 car between you and the back of this trailer. We're about 1 car going 10 miles an hour, so if you're going 60 or 70 miles an hour, we're about 6 or 7 cars. Oh, you guys did?
Yeah, and you said that. So,
You guys stopped by a trooper? We don't have any SUVs. It was a county guy. Was it like a black SUV?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And you thought you guys were following too closely? Okay. Today?
And he brings up the shooting again. He just mentioned the school shooting
Well, I'm not
again.
going to give you guys another ticket or warning if you just got stopped. Just make sure you give yourself plenty of room, okay? So like I said, it's all about how fast you're going, okay? So if you're going 10 miles an hour, you only need 1 car. Or if you're going, so the speed limit here is 7. If you're going 70 miles an hour, you need 7 car miles. Yeah. That's the easy way to explain it. Yeah. Okay. It's really, if you're in the B&B man, it says 2 to 3 seconds. All right. You guys have a safe trip. Where y'all heading?
Thank you so much for stopping.
Where y'all heading to? Huh? Well, where at? PA? It's a long haul. You guys scared of airplanes?
It's interesting they brought up the school shooting again to deflect him. You know, every time that the officers bring up where you're coming from, in the first pullover, the dad introduced that. So Kohberger and the father, Kohberger specifically try to introduce this mass shooting thing to deflect from the officer thinking about the other incident of 4 college students being murdered a month prior.
Okay. All right, well, hey, peace out, Central. Thank you, sir.
And then after this, I think I play the overlay again. And here we go. This is 2011. I just want you to see this again. This is the range 2011 to 2016. That's 2012. Almost no difference at all. 2013. They all have the fin on it. Now, when I was removing the background, it kind of removed parts of the fin because it was so thin in terms of the color, but the general shape of the car is what I want people to look at. It's absolutely very, very similar. I don't think a lay person could go, oh, well, that's a 2012 or 13 or 14. You know, so you can see that they all look the same. The door shapes are the same. The windows are the same. You can even buy parts from 2011. I mean, you could take a 2011 back window, and put it into a 2016 vehicle. 14. I'm just doing the repeat of what we saw earlier because I really want you to know that yes, Bryan Kohberger's vehicle 2015 absolutely is similar to the other models in the range of 2011 to 2016. And there it is, even quicker, makes it easier to see. And then here we go. We're going to show the overlay again with a 2015 white Elantra overlaid on top of the suspect vehicle 1, which matches what Bryan Kohberger drives. And in fact, when Bryan Kohberger drove down to Clarkston, Washington and went to the Albertsons, suspect vehicle 1 is consistent with Bryan Kohberger's vehicle that's seen there on camera because his phone, camera, and himself are all linked together. And you can see right there, there's the white Elantra. Now there's a lot of people out there trying to peddle to you and sell to you that it's a different type of vehicle because they just can't believe it. However, we already know that the FBI and law enforcement have already analyzed the video footage from 1112 King Road and determined that that was a white Elantra doing 3 initial passes and then did a 4th, and even mentioned on the 4th pass how it turns around behind 500 Queen Road and then it drives out to Queen and King Road. It does a 3-point turn and then continues on and completes its 4th pass. And here it is. This is a white Elantra, and you can see absolutely how similar that is. I'm blinking it on and off, where you can see the shape of the window behind it, and just the overall shape and contours of the vehicle are absolutely identical. And that is Bryan Kohberger's Elantra, and we know that because they found DNA from the knife sheath inside that house of Bryan Kohberger. And I think it just fades out, and there it is. Alright, you guys. Well, that's going to do it for this video. But just keep in mind, the suspect vehicle number 1 that matches Bryan Kohberger's vehicle is seen here at 326. Then it drives by A&W here at 328. And then it comes into the area at 330 and passes right here. And they even say in the probable cause document that it makes the first pass of the initial 3 passes at 330. You see it on the 1330 Linda Lane camera driving around like this, and then it does another 2, and then it does a 4th. We know for certain that the vehicle driving behind 500 Queen Road and doing its passes is a white Elantra. The video here is consistent with the probable cause affidavit. When I say here, the 1330 Linda Lane footage is absolutely matches the probable cause document. The camera at 1112 King Road right here that's filming this direction will absolutely be able to be synced up to that camera at trial. So both the 1112 King Road and the 1330 Linda Lane camera will be synced up. There's no doubt about it. And we know that that is Bryan Kohberger's vehicle because inside the residence here, as I stated a moment ago, they found a K-bar knife sheath with his DNA on the snap. And then just 28 minutes after he sped away from the crime scene, his phone pings near Blaine, Idaho down here. He turns his phone on. And then you say, well, that just could be an errant ping. Except for it kept pinging as it made its way around like this. And then he made it all the way back up. And then on camera, a white Elantra matching suspect vehicle 1 is seen coming back into the area right here on Johnson Avenue. And then his phone pings again at 5:30. So yes, the vehicle that is seen on the 1330 Linda Lane footage is a white Elantra. It matches the probable cause document, and Bryan Kohberger, in my opinion, is the killer of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez. Alright? So thank you all very much for watching. Now leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you think about the various elements of this video here. And hit that like button again, alright? It's really important that you hit the like button. So if you could hit that like button on this one, I would really appreciate it. Thank you all very much for watching. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.